But yeah, this was definitely one of the stupidest speeches at the RNC. So this is our Asshole of the Week segment. And this week's asshole is Matt Gaetz, who is a congressman from Florida in the House of Representatives. And he was a speaker at the RNC. And, you know, this speech was filled with probably some of the stupidest statements I've heard throughout that event.
Cancer can overwhelm you with thoughts, yet also leave you at a loss for words. Take a deep breath. Go here. Find your mbcvoice.com.
I'm Congressman Matt Gaetz. I'm speaking to you from an auditorium emptier than Joe Biden's daily schedule. But we are a nation of full hearts and clear minds. We see the choice clearly: strength or weakness, energy or confusion, success or failure. President Trump is the first president since Reagan not to start a new war. Biden has foolishly cheerled decades.
Yeah, he just made the ones that we are currently involved in much worse.
Yeah, exactly. By killing our Iranian general who did not have any plan to imminently attack the United States.
He almost sent us to war.
Yeah.
Of war without winning, without end. President Trump knows we are strongest when we fight hardest, not in distant deserts, but for our fellow Americans.
Wait, what?
Fight to save America.
We're still fighting in distant deserts.
Exactly.
America now, or we may lose her forever. Joe Biden might not even notice. Settle for Biden. That's the hashtag promoted by AOC and the socialists. The Woketopians will settle for Biden because they will make him an extra in a movie written, produced, and directed by others. It's a horror film, really. They'll disarm you, empty the prisons, lock you in your home, and invite MS-13 to live next door. And
that's a dog whistle if I had ever heard one.
Yes, a very overtly racist dog whistle.
He's going to invite MS-13 to live next door.
Or
code for
what do you mean by that?
People.
Yeah.
It's code for brown people.
Yeah.
And on with this train wreck.
And the police aren't coming when you call. In Democrat-run cities, they're already being defunded, disbanded. Blaming our best and allowing society's worst? That's the story they write in Hollywood. That's if the lights even stay on in California anymore. A state that cannot keep power running for its own people should not send its junior senator to be vice president.
They have a wildfire. What the hell?
But nightmares.
Yeah, like what?
They have a wildfire. What? Like, that makes no sense. And then saying defund the police actually means police are being disbanded is not true at all.
I mean, there's definitely some people on, who are advocating for abolishing the police, but overall, like the general idea behind defund the police is not get rid of them. That's not
it's more idea. So take overfunded budgets and appropriate them to community needs.
Yeah.
Are becoming real. Cops killed, children shot. At the Democrat convention, they say, if you vote against Trump, it will all stop. Appeasement is never a winning strategy. No, we won't settle for violence in our neighborhoods or at our border. We won't settle for decades of bad decisions by basement-dwelling Joe Biden.
Well, I mean, like, there's an element of truth to that, but it's not like Trump is any better.
Yeah, Trump has excelled at violence.
Yeah. I would say, like, progressives, by voting for Biden to get rid of Trump, is, like, I wouldn't even say that's settling for Biden. If you just vote for Trump and then go home and do nothing for the next 4 years, that's settling for Biden.
Exactly.
We settle a continent. We know that the frontier, the horizon, even the stars belong to us. Donald Trump, like all builders, is a visionary. That which is built in the mind is even more powerful than the brick and mortar that holds it together. First comes the mind, then the making. First comes the vision, then the work. Washington, Lincoln, and Jefferson are immortal precisely because of the pull they have on our imagination. You cannot cancel a culture that loves its heroes. The dangerous left need America to be weaker.
They're not. I wouldn't necessarily call them heroes. They did important work to start
But
this
they're
nation.
not to be worshipped. They're not to be worshipped.
There's no one in human history that deserves to be worshipped.
Yeah.
Unless like you're religious and like like Jesus and Muhammad, or maybe like those are, I guess, are like the exceptions. But as far as like when it comes to just like history in general.
Yeah, they like to idolize people like them, but not acknowledge the horrible things they've done. Like the thing is, like,
acknowledging someone's flaws is not canceling them.
Yes, more so saying, I'm not going to be saying happy birthday to Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah. And that's part of like what objective historical analysis is. You acknowledge their shortcomings while praising their accomplishments without overtly worshiping them.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm going to like put up a statue and say, oh, happy birthday, happy anniversary. That's not what I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
You're in the history books, but that doesn't mean I'm going to celebrate you in today's society.
Yeah, you're not like in those instances, like we're not celebrating them, we're celebrating their accomplishments.
Yeah.
Many of which were like really important, as we've mentioned. But
there have been other people who've contributed to that as well.
Yeah. On with the speech.
To accomplish their goal of replacing her. We know that to make America great again, we must first make something of ourselves. That is the meaning of true strength. My great-grandfather was a railroad man. As a Florida man, I watch our rockets routinely send the brightest beyond the heavens with our flag and our hope.
Yeah, because that's an important point that needs to be made.
Florida is not the home of the best and brightest people. His speech does not help them at all.
Yeah. Like, I think the Florida Man headlines are enough proof of that.
Yeah.
America is the greatest country that has ever existed. Don't let any celebrity, athlete, or politician tell you otherwise.
We can tell. History could tell us otherwise.
I don't know. What would you say is like the best country that ever existed? There's never been any perfect ones.
No. Like, I mean, more so, one of the best countries, we're not even ranked the top for democracy. And people like him like to emphasize that all the time.
Yeah. The thing is, like, every country on the planet has had such a rocky history that even if one is like does
President
stand
Trump's
out above the rest, you can't really like necessarily say like, oh, it's the greatest.
Like, no, and it's like argument is like ridiculous because it's saying you can't acknowledge the flaws of your country and try to fix it to become better.
If you do, you're anti-American.
Yep.
Sometimes raises his voice and a ruckus. He knows that's what it takes to raise an army of patriots who love America and will protect her.
Okay, I will give him this, but I mean, like, the thing is, like, I've had a conversation with someone recently about this, about like Trump's unfilteredness, and I said if it wasn't for Trump being such a bigot and an asshole and a liar, his unfilteredness would be an oddly admirable quality. Because when it comes, because like I think one of the most appealing things about Trump back during the 2016 election is that he really ditched the rules of like you had to be polite, had decorum, and like that was what a politician sounded like.
Yeah.
And when it comes when it comes to like issues like of injustice and stuff like that, whether it be social injustice or economic injustice or climate injustice, like whatever thing you can insert before the word justice, like you really can't afford to be filtered. You have
and they want people who fight for Black Lives Matter, environmental justice, to be polite or even shut up, but they won't be polite or shut up themselves.
Yeah. And that was what was very problematic about something that Obama said recently. He basically politely said, "Shut up and dribble," without just outright saying, "No one cares about your opinions. You celebrity athletes, so just shut up and do what your corporate bosses pay you to do."
Yep.
Like so, yeah.
We must win this election if we cherish our country as much as we should. For there is no place to run, no refuge for freedom should we fail. America is not just an idea or a constitution. It is our home.
I mean, you offer that
We
for
must
people who
protect our
criticize
home
America.
with unbreakable made in America strength. Strength I see every day in President Donald Trump. Thank you.
They do say go to another country if you don't like America. So, I mean, you do offer refuge to some people, just the ones who disagree with you.
Anyway, so that's our show.